Happy Monday. Whitney's back. I'm back. Um, I'm going to give this a couple of minutes to just let myself get warmed up. Savannah's normally here doing Monday motivation for you all. She's in Colombia celebrating her honeymoon 6 months after the fact, and she absolutely deserves it. So I am here filling in the hot seat. Um, hope everybody had a good weekend. It's been painfully hot. Good morning, Aunt. Um, it's been terribly hot. I was just talking to Aunt a second ago, and Lauren. The only really reasonable, there's two reasonable options today or this time of year to do anything, and it is either go to the pool or you're just chilling at home. It's too hot to do yard work. It's too hot to really go to the playground or really have any outdoor adventures. So I hope everyone has found some ways to cool off and enjoy this kind of end of June, beginning of July. It's crazy to think that it is July almost. I guess Wednesday is officially July, and that means it's also my birthday on Wednesday too. But this summer's flying by, and I hope everyone's been enjoying it. And I hope you all, especially our Oxford folks, have been crushing it in the gym. And we just finished Bring a Friend Week, met so many friends. It's been an excellent time meeting the people that you love and you bring them into their world. And now we're kind of in prep week, right? So this week we're getting ready for the new cycle that's coming up. The coaches have taken a peek, and some of us have even tested some of the workouts already. So you'll get to introduce some of those movements this week at the gym. Savannah sent out a really great email laying out all the workouts this week. And also, I think the best thing that she mentioned in that message is the fact that it's a holiday week, right? And today, this whole entire week, we want you to get in here at least 3 times a week. We know 4th of July is coming. We know it's a big holiday. Another reason to go lounge and relax and hang by the pool. But you still need to stay motivated and consistent in the gym. And you need to show up this week. Good morning, Beefy. How are you, girly? Um, but yeah, you all need to get in the gym this week, right? And I'm here to really motivate you to do so, not just this week, but for the rest of the summer and for the rest of the time that you're ever moving your body and doing anything, right? And the other day I was scrolling on good old Instagram, and I found this really amazing quote that I wanted to share with you all that really is the driver behind why I'm here today. And I think it's a James Clear quote. Everything on Instagram is a quote by James Clear, but I think this one is particularly helpful on a Monday. And I'm going to read it to you. It doesn't make sense to continue wanting something if you're not willing to do what it takes to get it. If you don't want to live the lifestyle, then release yourself from the desire. To crave the result, but not the process, is to guarantee disappointment. To crave the result, but not the process, is to guarantee disappointment. We talk about this a lot at the gym, how we always set goals for ourselves, how we always put things on our calendars that are big and scary. I know Beefy has some incredible goals in powerlifting. Ant and I are working on beach brawl. There's triathlon folks. There are people who are doing DECA and then doing DECA again in October when Fit Fest comes back. And we put those things on our calendar because it's important for us to do scary things and do hard things, but also because we know that there's a process to get there, right? And I read that quote a couple of days ago, and it's really kind of just been sitting with me. And it really does hit different on a Monday because Mondays are the days of wanting, right? It's the Monday, it's the beginning of the week for a lot of us. And it is the day where you wake up and you are filled with promise. You're like, this is the new week, new me, new habits, new things start. You know, you get all the inspiration as your coffee's pouring when you wake up in the morning and you feel hyper motivated, right? And the wanting is the easy part. Wanting is free, right? Everybody wants to feel strong. Everybody wants more energy. Everybody wants to keep up with their kids. And nobody's at home hoping that they feel worse, right? The wanting, the wishing, that is universal. Everybody wants more for themselves in some way. Wanting is a feeling, but being willing is a decision. And your wanting is the feeling that keeps you comfy and cozy and laying in bed. Willing is the one that gets up on the days that you don't want to and makes every possible and takes care of every and like willing rather is the one that gets up when it's cold and it's dark and every part of you is willing to find a way to make it happen. Right? I know Ant threw out a quote. This was a while ago, and Ant, if you can find that quote, it's a good one. The one about being comfortable. We're not meant to be comfortable, cold under the covers, laying in the dark. Like we're meant to be up, and we're meant to be doing the difficult things and making the decisions that motivate us and move us forward. But the gap between that willing and that wanting is where a lot of people's goals kind of go to die, and but no one notices, right? Because like the want is still there, the desire is still there, the wishes are still there, and people will tell you how bad they want it, but then sometimes along the way they stop being willing to do the things that it takes to get to that goal. And we never really find that. We oftentimes never really get to hmm I've kind of lost my train of thought a little bit. But there's a lot of pieces to unpack about this quote, right? There's the wanting, there's the willing, there's that gap in the middle where people are telling you how bad they want things, but they don't know how to get it. And then there's even this like very freeing part of the quote in the middle of it where if you don't want to live the lifestyle, then you have to release yourself from that desire, right? And we never really give ourselves permission to do that. Sometimes we carry around goals like they're overdue homework, like we've held on to them for 10 years. That 10-year-old version of ourself is the version of ourself that we're still trying to hold on to and get back to, right? And sometimes we still have those goals from when we were younger and when life was different. And we're forcing ourselves to try to make it fit into our present day now. But I really just want to take some time to talk a little bit more about it. And when we talk about it, it is important to want a goal, right? And being willing to achieve that goal is even more important. But this is meant to be a gut check for you. And really, what I want you to ask yourself today, are you wanting to do these things or are you willing to do those things? And you need to be very honest with yourself. And if you still want a goal, that's fine. I'm not telling you that you're being lazy. I'm telling you that you need to just dig a little deeper, right? Sometimes when we want a goal, we need to really think about where that goal came from. Did it come from you? Did it come from something that's motivating inside of you? Or did it come from something that you saw from someone else? Did you see someone else do something that was really cool and you're trying to apply it to yourself? Maybe we fell into the trap of some before and after photos that we saw from some random person that we don't even know on some social media thing somewhere. And we're like, ooh, I want to do that. But where the willing part comes in is kind of that in between. Like take a look at those before and after photos. What's the stuff that happened in between those two pictures, right? What you don't see is the random Tuesdays. What you don't see are the workouts that they woke up and did at 5:30 a.m. because it was the only time that they knew they could work out and they didn't want to do it, but they did it anyway, right? It's the consistency of their meals. It's not the dramatic reveals with the cool music and like the 6 seconds of someone doing something and then they're doing something incredible, right? Like it's that messy middle. Lauren talks about that a lot. The messy middle of the process. And if you're not willing to embrace that messy middle, if you're not willing to lean into those days where your motivation is not there and you maybe even feel a little just uncertain, you need to have the discipline to show up and do it. Because if the goal is important enough for you, if you're willing enough, you're going to trust the process along the way, even when it doesn't feel the most stable and the most secure and the most clear. And so I really want us to think about, as it comes to your goals, to not compare yourself to the things that don't matter, right? Don't compare what's important to you to someone that you don't know or someone that has just been on a different path than you for years and years and years, right? Your goals are your own, right? But the most important thing is, how do you do it, right? So there's really like 4 things here that can keep you in line, right? And really kind of keep the ethos of this quote that I'm really digging into as part of this episode today. So 4 important things. One, I want you to like shrink your wins, right? Don't measure against a finish line. Don't measure against an end result. It's months away and it's great. If you check it off, amazing, right? But if you show up every day and you are consistent every day with what you're working on, then that's the win, right? Measure yourself against one question. How did I show up today? All right, I'll say it again. Measure yourself against how you showed up today, not against the finish line, right? It sounds small, but when you do it on a Monday and then you do it on a Tuesday and then you do it again and again and again, those weeks stack up, right? And that's the win that really shows up. So this week, don't chase the finish line, right? Chase the process. That's my first advice for you. And number 2, become the person, right? Build your identity around this goal, right? Become the person, don't just chase it, right? There's a difference between saying that you're someone who wants to be stronger versus I am someone who trains every day, right? That's just a fact. And facts survive bad days. You can still be a person who trains and have a rest day or have a day where your workout didn't go the way that you wanted it to. You can still be working on improving your nutrition and have a day where maybe you didn't eat something that was like on your plan, right? You can still have the days. Chase the process, right? Don't chase the finish line. And it's important too, because at the end of the day, if you build your identity around this goal, if you build your identity around this willingness, this situation that you want for yourself, this result that you want for yourself, you're more able to sit in it. You're more able to be consistent and build something for yourself that is not just going to help you possibly achieve the goal that you want, but it's going to carry you beyond the goal that you want. It's going to carry you into this way that is sustainable for the rest of your life and roll over into ways that maybe you didn't even expect. The third thing that's really important here is finding the thing that you love inside of the process. You don't have to love it all, right? You don't have to love the entire process. Nobody does. Um, this training that I've been doing for Beach Brawl, there are days where I don't like it. It's hard. I am tired. It is exhausting. Like things feel heavy. I feel slow. Like my lungs are on fire. And I'm like wanting this fitness for myself because I have this huge goal to be in the top 10 of the elite women's division in Beach Brawl in September. But then there are also days where I love it so much. There are moments that I love and I see it carry over into my life in ways that are far and beyond what I could have expected, right? Since I've been doing this beach ball training, and I have these very specific things that we're working on, and it's not just in the gym, right? It's outside of the gym, right? Like I'm working on like my mental health, I'm working on life goals, and it's all tied together, right? And there are processes of that I have grown to love very deeply and that have become very personal to me. And that's what's important here in this third bit. Find the piece that you love and protect it. There are going to be elements of your journey and your process towards your goal that you're not going to enjoy, that feel very crummy and crappy. But if you cling to the things that you love, that's going to keep you showing up every day. The last one, you've heard all of us say this as coaches, don't do it alone, right? I am someone who, prior to Oxfit, for many, many years, I would say probably like at least 3 years, I trained by myself. I would work out I would work out alone in a gym in between class times. I was flying solo, me and my headphones, sometimes a podcast, and I would do all these hard training things by myself. And I felt like I was beating my head against a wall. And then I came to Oxfit and I found a community, right? I found a group of people who were and still are so aligned with the things that are so deeply just naturally a part of me. Like our values are the same, our passions are the same. We want things for each other. And once that fell into place, my goals just grew in ways that I couldn't even imagine. And so if you have goals for yourself, don't do them alone. Tell someone about your goals. Tell someone what you are willing to do and then show up, right? This is why like Oxfit is built the way that it is. When you train by yourself, every workout that you do is a negotiation with your motivation. And God knows that motivation is very fickle, right? But when you've got your people, you're not just dragging yourself to a workout, you're showing up for them and you're showing up for yourself. So continue to be loud about your goals, be willing to talk about them, and find the people that support those goals. Show up for them, show up for yourself, and it will blossom in ways that you can't even begin to imagine. And so here's your Monday assignment, right? Your Monday motivation assignment. This week, don't focus on the outcome, like zero outcome goals, right? No scale, no mirror, don't check and see if it's working yet. One job for 5 days or 3 days, somewhere in between that. Just show up. Show up to the gym, walk through the door. That's the whole assignment, right? Take care of the process and let the results take care of that. If you take care of yourself this week, one of the busiest weeks of the year, where there's a million places to be, a million things to do. There's a World Cup. If you're in Atlanta, there's a million World Cup games going on. So there's fan fests and watch parties and just lots of stuff. And those things are great. But if you show up here and you get the work done for yourself, you are going to be so proud of yourself. I will be very proud of you. But don't care if I'm proud of you. You should be proud of yourself. Like I showed up at the gym. I did the things that I needed to do to make myself feel good. Food, sleep, quiet time, exercise, keeping the stress manageable where you can, and see what happens, right? It's a wonderful place to be. And that's how I need you to show up for yourself this week. All right. So I'll close this out with this quote one more time. All right. And there's a lot of other pieces of it that we could like unpack and deep dive in, but let's bring it home one more time. It doesn't make sense to continue wanting something if you are not willing to do what it takes to get it. If you don't want to live the lifestyle, then release yourself from the desire. To crave the result, but not the process, is to guarantee disappointment. And listen, if you've been craving results and kind of, I don't know, vice gripping, white knuckling the process all by yourself, stop. That's why we're here. We're here to solve that problem. You were never supposed to carry your goals alone. Come do it with people who care about you and will carry you through it on the days that you can't. So, come see us this week. I'm coaching today. Come at any time. We are pumped to get this week started with you. It's going to be a wonderful end of June, kickoff into July, and you're here to make it a great week. So, I'll see you at the gym.